Hello, hello on passive. I'll tell you what, we had quite a storm last night. It killed the power here for a while, and we were sitting in the dark, and I was actually enjoying the peace and quiet and not worrying about anything. So life was pretty good. I send greetings to you on this day, and I'm looking to do a little bit of a video today. I'm going to keep it pretty narrow in scope, I think, but we're going to look at what makes us on passive a phenomenal business model, and how we're moving into the future, and how the four pillars that our business model is based on can really be the total solution for anybody that's willing to step up and join. You know, I've been talking a while now about how OnPassive is not like any other company, but I also say that we're not based on those sciences, and that we have heart, which is, it's the fundamental power that we have as a business that really changes who we are and changes the whole dynamic. And I keep tapping away at this as if I've got a ball-peen hammer or something, just tink, 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 trying to give, our definition a little bit of shape so that we can understand that OnPassive is not a typical company, and it doesn't operate the way that we're used to seeing. So in short, it doesn't reflect the attitude, or it doesn't exercise a mentality that's almost universally associated with current online marketing businesses, their platforms, or especially what motivates them, their motivations. In other businesses, some of the challenges that we face can be born out of what we go through as we scratch and claw our way along in models that put us in competition with one another. When we compete in this way, when we compete with one another, it creates conflict, and that conflict creates division. That conflict divides us by establishing categories, and we get placed into those categories. We place ourselves in them, we place others in them. And they're reminiscent of the polarity that we have in this world. I mean, we live in a polar world, right? It's a polarity of rich and poor, and winners and losers, and the haves and the have-nots, and every other division that would have us believe that we're not fundamentally connected, that we are individual, and that we're separate from ourselves, we're separate from each other and the rest of the world. But that division, let me tell you, is a lie. That division is a construct of humanity that simply can't hold up to the truth of the connectedness that we all share. And when I say construct of humanity, I am referring, believe it or not, to those power brokers that believe whoever has the money makes the rules. So, whether we're baby boomers or members of the Generation Y group, also known as millennials, or whether we're Gen Xers, it really doesn't matter. Because as far as our humanity is concerned, we're all connected. And this is really where OnPassive steps out of the herd, because it's this connectedness that OnPassive seeks to nurture, magnify, and to use to lift humanity through a revolutionary way of doing business that's based on, yes, I said it before, cooperation and mutual benefit. Equally impressive, though, OnPassive is forcing a shift in the online marketing model by making use of breakthrough digital technologies. It's undeniably a global phenomenon, but OnPassive is the movement and the momentum of the first massive wave of change. We've all heard of George Orwell, right? Remember, he was a dystopian author. Dystopian, it's a 10-cent word that denotes states of society that are imagined with great suffering and injustice and such. He wrote the books 1984, Animal Farm, and some other ones. You may remember hearing the phrase, "Big Brother is watching you." Well, we get that phrase from that guy's work. Anyway, as technology in our global economy has evolved, we've moved right out in front of the Orwellian conceptions into an era that's dominated by the trust of machines. By this, I'm meaning that we wholly trust our devices and the technologies that run them, from the point of having them near us, to having them on us, to having them in us. And our technology is exploding. We're no longer using the tech that was in the 90s. Remember when Amazon and Google rose to become household names? Or later on, 2014, 15, when Facebook's roots started going pretty deep into the political landscape of the world as big data became the playthings of these tech giants. Well, compared to the technology of today, the tech of yesteryear seems pretty mundane because the sophistication and capability of our technology has grown thousands of times since then, illustrating all too clearly that the future is technology. And ONPASSIVE is leading the digital charge in the online marketing space. Of course, when we mention future tech, it includes machine learning strategies, artificial intelligence, virtual and augmented reality, and a host of other things that are going to become indispensable as we move forward into a future that's fraught with absolute wonder and all perfected through automation, which is key. These changes are happening now, with many more that are going to affect this world dramatically in the next 3 to 5 years, not decades like a lot of people might think. Specific to ONPASSIVE, advancements in automation are fueling innovations, and they're coupling with technological transitions and producing life-changing results. Yeah, it's already happening. But to continue the momentum, we need tools that are compatible with this new automation, and not everybody can do that. But ONPASSIVE has created a massive cache of tools and everything else that is ONPASSIVE, along with its own automation software from scratch. This means everything we are and have is paid for. But we weren't silly enough to attempt recreating the wheel. Instead, we've taken the best designs and best practices in the sector, tethered them together with ideas of our own, the best AI technology, coding, and a whole lot of heart, so that what we have equates to an abbreviated version of everything in the digital world contained within the sphere of all that is ONPASSIVE. As a result, we are a giant AI IT company. We are massive, automated, debt-free, and done for you. For ONPASSIVE, automation is what moves the moving parts of our digital marketing ecosystem. And ONPASSIVE is the online marketing engine, barreling smoothly along the tracks headed into the future. It's moving along with a dull roar like that of an ever-advancing storm, with its digital cargo and full automation secured for delivery, and we're beginning to shake the tracks. I love this quote by Mr. Mufareh. As good as ONPASSIVE is, the things that you know and the things you do not know, as overall ONPASSIVE, now and future, it is much bigger than Facebook. It is much bigger than Google. And the most beautiful part is, it's to your advantage, to the customer. So when you think things are going to slow down or things are going to run out of traffic, no, 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 no. You're going to hear the vibration of the ground. I promise you. Man, I love that. Here's another one. Quote, "We are starting much stronger than other companies like Google. Our staff has come from companies like JP Morgan, Apple, Wells Fargo, etc. Like Google at its beginning, ONPASSIVE is a movement, and we too will become a global leader. In this way, we will be way above the crowd." Both of those quotes from Mr. Mufareh were done in the last part of last year. Here's another one that was done earlier this year, and I quote, "We're shaping up, not as a network marketing company, not as a multi-level marketing company, or a tools or digital marketing company. We're shaping up as one of the main giants, a total business solution," unquote. Man alive, you gotta love that. ONPASSIVE, an AI IT solutions provider, is moving us into the future with a total internet solution made of new technologies with revolutionary advancements that is going to provide a turnkey solution for use by our members, the early adapters. It's made for the founders and made to benefit the little guy. As such, the flow of technologies and advancements that will affect future global economic outcomes are at our fingertips. And as a participator in those outcomes, we're going to be the beneficiaries of all that ONPASSIVE is and does. Make no mistake about it. Change is coming, and ONPASSIVE is the leading edge of that change in the online business arena. ONPASSIVE is the revolutionary new business model that incorporates a globally felt cooperation. It also produces mutual benefit and wealth for all of its members while upholding the ethical and moral standards of excellence. Right now, ONPASSIVE is poised at the crest on the first massive wave of this change. It's a movement, and you can be very assured that there's going to be subsequent, lesser waves following our lead. The future is obvious, and ONPASSIVE has no small part in it. As such, we're packing a 1-2 punch because our technology solutions fit very nicely into the cracks of the conventional business models that have been caused by the disruptive technologies. This digital disruption of the amount and caliber that ONPASSIVE brings to the table is helping to blur the lines between the traditional industries and businesses even before we open to the public. ONPASSIVE is a market and sector-shaping entity that empowers its customers, our members, with the control and benefits of its new business. Our new model will be the catalyst providing growth for our members' businesses and allowing them to meet future expectations while at the same time providing them with a new level of comfortability with all of the innovative changes taking place. Having every tool for success will help us to foster the creativity and disrupt business as usual by replacing the obsolete systems with new, innovative ones and tapping into new markets with greater operational efficiencies because of the breakthrough technologies we use. We're not shying away from this change because the world needs us, even though we know disruption technologies and their associated systems can be pretty intimidating for anybody, especially for anybody outside of a particular industry. Well, we are the solution. ONPASSIVE is the one-stop shop. It's the mother of all supermarkets, so to speak, for the tools, the modalities, etc., that we as internet marketers buy and use anyway every day. It's not like we don't know that they're selling. Of course they are. They're already being used. We've just made them better, more convenient, more user-friendly, and we have them all in one place at the lowest fair market cost anywhere on the globe by far. But as good as that is, the real reason to partner with us is because we have a heart for humanity and we have a heart-brain coherence when it comes to running our business and taking care of our members. We are AI with heart, and our mission is to methodically lift the human condition. Mr. Mufareh said this year, not too long ago as a matter of fact, quote, "We want to lift up the lives of those around the world. You cannot lift up humanity without a heart." Or this one, I love this one too. "If you can lift up the millions in humanity in any way and leave that legacy, what better? What an honor to be able to serve and do it." Unquote. So in this way, we're already a successful business. These tools are already selling. We could have stopped right here had we wanted, but we know the tech can be daunting. We know that not everybody gets it. Not everybody's going to understand it. And there's a whole ton of us, internet users, that were not born into this technology and don't have a natural affiliation with it. Not like Mr. Mufareh. And we can all be pretty fickle, right? We can change from day to day depending on circumstance, depending on mood, depending on emotion, etc. And we're talking about an entire globe here, so there's a whole bunch of us. A whole world of different languages, cultures, economies, etc. Each with our own quirks, our own obsessions, our own little idiosyncrasies that color our personalities and are changing our perspectives day in and day out. And all of these things affect whatever business we're in. Of course, you all know this. You know that day-to-day changes in perspective affects business performance. Generally, that means there's going to be a decrease not only in efficiency, but any other characteristic used to gauge success. So much so that it's going to render the entire business model mad because it's largely unpredictable. So logically, the only way to provide a total internet solution at any level with predictable success, much less at a global level, is through automation. And that's what ONPASSIVE has done. We have a framework of digital tools built with advanced technologies of communications, marketing, distribution, etc., infused with AI and linked to operate linearly with automation technology. This automation makes it possible to include people from all walks of life, all their various backgrounds, with uniformity and predictability because the language is universal and it's one of the digital persuasion. This allows flatlining the drama. It provides a level playing field for our members, and it's brought to us through machine learning. Machine science has given us this characteristic. Well, this is the only way to make an entire business system that is completely duplicatable, accurately perfected, and sustainable via digital technology. And it's only possible with ONPASSIVE because of our massive digital footprint, breakthrough technologies, and heart. Just in case I've been maybe a little less than clear, I'm not just referring to the ecosystem that I mentioned previously, but that's part of it. I'm not just talking about AI integration, but that's part of it. I'm not just bringing your attention to the many departments or go-founders or the infrastructure or the revolutionary pay plan or the components of projects, programs, and tools that we haven't even mentioned to the public yet, but they're all part of it. They are all sophisticated, user-friendly parts of it. Okay, wow. Let me get back on track. Pillars. Oh, yeah. You probably heard me talk about pillars, right? The pillars of ONPASSIVE. Well, there are 4 of them. Tools, automation, traffic, and residual income. So say hello ONPASSIVE, because the digital system that we're talking about represents pillar number 1, tools. Our complete digital system has every tool not only needed to create or maintain an online business, but to also, and get this, also maneuver comfortably within the World Wide Web, the internet, areas of telecom, digital services, e-business and e-commerce, information and knowledge management, intellectual property rights, human capital and knowledge workers, research and development. It's because all these are key components of a digital economy. Listen, this is important. I'm saying that the entire digital world is summed up in ONPASSIVE, and then it's automated. I hope you really get this. So you can say hello ONPASSIVE, because guess what? Our digital system also showcases pillar number 2, automation. Yes, it's completely automated. Anybody can do this. Remember my analogy a few videos back about this being a self-fueling, self-driving vehicle? Yeah, it's like that. You just strap yourself in and enjoy the ride. Of course, if you're like me and you like to work with stuff, this is a beautiful toy with bells and whistles galore, and you can set it up to your liking. But it's not just high-tech. It's high-tech with high touch, and it's completely reliable. So go ahead, play with it. You're not going to break it. But as good as this is, we know that people need exposure for their businesses. This means no matter how you approach it, exposure needs to have an end result that provides traffic to a site that results in sales or income if it's to be successful. But without going into what types of traffic generating avenues there are, let's just say that most of the ways to generate traffic may get some people to your site, but more often than not, they don't get the right people with the right mindset to your site that end up making a purchase. If they did, we'd be doing them. Most of what is out there and available comes down to various forms of spam because we try to use social media like Facebook or Twitter, etc., or traffic exchanges where you've got 90,000 people trying to sell us something while they all have a locked mindset towards purchasing anything themselves. Well, these are simply not the right places to go for leads or sales. They just don't work. To be effective, we have to change the dynamic to something that attracts people to us. And that dynamic has to be scalable. But for most of us, we don't have any idea how to go about creating a system like that that's going to drive targeted, qualified traffic to a site that results in sales over and over again. Well, say hello ONPASSIVE, because pillar number 3 is traffic. And we guarantee traffic that's relevant and qualified. Traffic that is targeted at prospects that say, hey, I'm looking for something like that. And then this is another reason why we're different. Our relationship with prospects is open. It's yes or no. It's transparent. We're talking about real e-commerce where we show what we have, and if prospects find it appealing, they buy. I mean, wouldn't you? You buy what you like, right? Anyway, This is because when we have more effective, reliable systems that provide greater quality at lower costs to replace what's currently available, then we have an offer that attracts an entire market to us. We're the real deal. The traffic we provide is paid traffic. It's also organic from SEO. We aren't harassing people. We're not farming leads from social medias, for Pete's sake, and stuff like that. Our traffic is paid traffic coming from multiple sources to the point that we can provide everyone exactly what they paid for, so everyone is going to succeed, and it's a science. It's predictable. Here's what Mr. Mufareh said during a conversation. Quote, "We wouldn't dare go to the direction of ONPASSIVE before we've secured the traffic. Our business is as good as our traffic," unquote. But you know what? We could have stopped there too, because that alone, offering affordable, quality traffic, can be a business all by itself. But of course we didn't, because the follow-up and everything else is included as a part of the total solution. It's just part of what we have to do to make the whole system work and bring value to our members and customers, period. So, okay, come on. All right, we're going to be real here for just a second. We all know that we're not giving you something for nothing. If you're a founder, then you already know about the ONPASSIVE philosophy, all done for you. It doesn't mean we're running a charity, and it doesn't mean that we're trying to give away the farm. We are paying for it every step of the way, and by that I simply mean, as a founder, we are paying the company, ONPASSIVE, to do the work for us. Furthermore, if we understand what is happening, then we know we're really not tricking anybody. Those payments are being made up front, right up front, in the form of subscriptions. And we take a portion from those to pay for the technology, to pay for the rent, the insurances, the payroll. Yeah, imagine that. We have hundreds and hundreds of real employees, managers, coding and tech gurus, people that have been hired and paid for on our behalf. And all of these expenditures are covered from subscription costs. The same scenario applies if you become a member, a customer, subscribing monthly to use what you want from our system once we go public. So, we are a legitimate business, but it's our ethics, fairness, and heart that ultimately make the difference. So this is all pretty slick, right? I mean, ONPASSIVE provides all the tools needed, which equates to a summation of the digital world that anybody can use. Those tools are completely automated, which guarantees success to even a novice user. And once the tools are placed into use for whatever business its user wants to have, ONPASSIVE provides relevant, targeted, quality traffic through its own marketing to that site, so that member doesn't need to sell or recruit. So you get your business, you have it automatically marketed, traffic that resells or sells to generate much more profit than it costs to run, while its owner is out doing fun things. I mean, man alive. It's a business model with 3 complete top-notch components that represent a total business solution that's running automatically with the state-of-the-art technology while generating profit for us. Who could ask for more? But maybe we really like this system and we want to get in on it, right? Well, let's say hello ONPASSIVE, because this brings us to pillar number 4. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. Residual income. For residual income, we become resellers for ONPASSIVE. Incidentally, all founders are resellers too. So, after ONPASSIVE opens to the public, we can choose to become resellers, and ONPASSIVE will share a portion of the sales volume with us. Sales volume that's being paid for through subscriptions. But obviously, if we're happy with our business in the first 3 pillars, great! We live happily ever after. But as resellers, we can choose to be partners with ONPASSIVE. As customers and resellers, we get to play a very unique role in ushering forth the paradigm shift that is ONPASSIVE. Additionally, as a reseller, we get paid very well by ONPASSIVE at the same time. This is why you join, to be part of a company with heart that is changing the world. But for the founders, which I'm not going to talk a lot about here, this can be our way to live out our passions as allowed through the attainment of wealth. At the very least, founders, you're going to be financially solid, at the very least. And again, I'm talking to current and future founders here. Will ONPASSIVE birth billionaires? Certainly. Millionaires? Absolutely. And lots of them. But here's where the rubber meets the road of humanity and what you can do for a legacy. Pick any country. How many people in that country can't afford basics? Can't afford the necessities? How many in the country would have their lives turned around if they had an extra 100, 200, or 500 a month in any currency? How many people do you know personally that live in poverty or close to it or have unmet needs? Inequality and division are man-made constructs, and we have in ONPASSIVE a platform for massive change to offset them to whatever degree we are committed. When we are wealthy, and a whole lot of us are going to get extremely wealthy through this, how are we going to act? What are we going to do? How many lives can you help change when you're taking in 5 or 6 figures a month? Listen, ONPASSIVE is an AI IT giant that runs on AI with heart. And we've been given the chance to be a partner at very little personal cost, and so can create massive residual wealth in comparison. Wealth that we can use to lift the human condition, each according to our own gifts and passion. We need to keep in mind ONPASSIVE is so much more than just a business model or a concept. It's a life and lifestyle changing platform with a holistic remedy, a holistic solution for whosoever will. As a human collaborative effort that's going to impact the world, we have the most advanced technology and work with the best hearts on the planet. So, let's do our part. Whether for the world or whether for a single child next door, let's do our part, and generations will voice their thankfulness for what you have done. I really hope this has been enlightening for you. I recommend that you'd become a founder immediately. Don't wait. Be decisive. Set your intention and envision your future. We're not quite ready yet, but everything we say is factual and the signs are all around you. Can you see it? Because if you miss this chance, it's not going to come back around. ONPASSIVE, and by extension GoFounders, we are the real deal, and we're a big deal. So, if you believe that you're made of what it takes to be a founder, I'm inviting you to join if you haven't already. But if an existing founder sent you here, or if they gave you an invitation to join, please get back with that founder, sign up under their team. That would mean a whole lot for them, and more than that, it'll demonstrate integrity on your part. However, if you're here and you want to become a founder, and you don't have an invitation, then I would love to have you on my team. So please, click in the description box below and join right now. You'll be glad that you joined this adventure, and you'll be the better for it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you in the back office, and I wish only the best for blessing upon blessing for you and your family.